morning. Welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, April the 29th. We're going to talk about nature today. Yes. And who better to converse about nature than Nadia Navarrete-Tindall. Good to have you here, Nadia.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, here we are. We're at springtime, and she was talking about some of the plants that we have around our property that we may think are just beautiful, but they're not good in the long run for the environment.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought you a picture, and for those of you who are listening to us, even if you don't see the pictures, if you go around Colombia or in other places in mid-Missouri, even across Missouri, in the woods, what you see most of it now is bush honeysuckle.
Bush honeysuckle. Now, bush honeysuckle looks... it looks pretty, and it forms a bush, and it has those white flowers on it. But what's bad about it? What's bad?
The problem is that bush honeysuckle, it reproduces so fast, not only by just spreading from roots, but also the birds. They eat the berries in the fall. So it's planted everywhere, and they are so dense in woodland sometimes that they don't allow the growth of any other plant. So they restrict the growth of beautiful wildflowers like the ones that we're seeing right now along woodlands. So you just end up with a monoculture bush honeysuckle that doesn't really provide too much nurture to nature, to wildlife.
Okay, even though the birds are eating the seeds, providing nourishment for the bird, you're saying that we should take out bush honeysuckle because
yes.
it doesn't cause it prevents diversification.
Yeah, and for that reason, I brought you 4 samples of shrubs that people can establish instead of bush honeysuckle.
Okay.
And bush honeysuckle, you don't need to plant it. Many times it just comes on its own, just from our yard. I have to keep track of the little seedlings because birds bring the seeds to your yard. Mm-hmm. So the first one that we're discussing today is 9-bark. Many people ask me. 9, like the number 9, bark.
9-bark.
Yes, this is a shrub that can be established densely together, and because it branches, where we are showing here the beautiful white flowers that are produced in the spring.
Does it have thorns on it?
It doesn't have thorns. It's just perfect.
I'm confusing that with what's the thorny one that has the white flowers? Hawthorn.
It's not. So this is a shrub. Hawthorn is more like it will form like a little tree, but the 9-bark is more like a shrub similar to honeysuckle, but doesn't reproduce as bad and nurtures the wildlife. It provides nectar and pollen to pollinators in the spring, and later in the fall it produces some dry seeds that birds eat. Okay. And the next one that we are discussing today is elderberry.
Elderberry. Now, I think I've got a lot of elderberry on my property.
And that is it's a perfect plant to establish, to let it be. And the flowers in the spring will provide also food for pollinators. And also you can eat the flowers, and then later on...
You can make elderberry wine too, can't you?
That's right. So you can use the flowers to make what they call cordials, sort of like a very mild beverage drink. Mm-hmm. But you can also use the berries later in the summer to eat. You can make jellies, you can make wine, but the birds also eat them.
So how tall do the elderberries grow?
It could be up to 8 feet, and maybe even 10, depending on your site. Okay. And we have others. We have so many shrubs here in Missouri that are native. And the next one we have is, remind me, Travis, there we go. We have Arrowwood. Arrowwood. If you can see, the picture we have has beautiful dark purple berries.
Is it like a vine?
No, this is a shrub.
It's a shrub.
Similar to the appearance of bush honeysuckle, but the leaves are completely different.
And they make little blueberries.
They make blueberries in the fall that birds just devour. They just love those berries. And we have this little shrub in our yard in Colombia, and you can see birds just going crazy just eating these berries.
Are they easy to establish?
They're very easy to establish. And for that, people can contact me at my email, send an email, or they can contact me through my Facebook page.
Okay, native plants.
Native Plants and More.
Native Plants and More. Okay, you can contact Nadia. She'll tell you how you can get all these native plants and establish them in your yard. Do you have another one, too?
Yeah, we have, the last one we have here is false wild indigo. It's called Amorpha fruticosa. It's a plant that is very easy to grow. And what is really important about this shrub is that it's a nitrogen fixer. It's actually a legume. So if you, all these 4 species that we have shown and talked to today about, you can create hedgerows, and then you can create your own private fence. Sometimes people ask me, what can I do? What can I establish to create a fence, a private fence? And I call it living fences, because if living fences with trees or shrubs, and you can plant them in 2 rows together.
Right.
And so you can make at the same time that you're creating your fence, you're creating habitat for wildlife, and you are even eating some of the berries.
Now,
that
what
you
was the
establish.
last one that we were just talking about?
It's false wild indigo.
And it puts nitrogen into the soil.
Yes.
Instead of taking nitrogen out.
Yeah.
And how tall does that one grow?
This one is about, depending on the site, it grows in dry areas, maybe up to 3 feet tall, but if it's in moist areas, could be up to even 6. I've seen it even growing in up to 8. But you can prune them early in the spring, and then you can control the growth.
Okay. All right, Nadia, always a pleasure chatting with you about all the native plants that we have in the area.
Yes. I love
But watch
doing
out
it.
for the bush honeysuckle. That's
That's right.
the message, the main message she wants to get across today.
Yeah.
If you want more information on this, you can contact Nadia at Lincoln University, right?
Yes.
Or you can go to Nadia's Facebook.com/native plants and more. And you'll have all the information there.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you for coming by. Pleasure
Yes.
chatting with you.
Same
We're out
here.
of time for today. Something you want to hear? Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu.